Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video of mine. It has been a while since I've made any videos. You may have seen me stream on Twitch a few times, but any videos about composition work and such has been quite dormant on my end. So welcome back to most likely the last video of 2023. First of all, I hope you had a good Christmas, and I wish you already a happy new year, just in time for 2024. Um, it has been a bit silent from my end. I've been busy with other projects that were mainly not compositions. Ever since the debacle with the platforms in StarSim, I took a break from making any major compositions. Um, so that yeah, I've been silent on that front, but I've definitely not been gone from the community. In the time while I took a break from making most of the compositions, I instead spend most of my time doing modding stuff, trying to learn how to write configs and stuff, and doing more and more things in modern day. Because I've joined a modern unit a few months ago, maybe almost a year ago now, and I became their main mod guy. So I'm playing around with rescripting certain vehicles, doing new damage models for them, making custom things for us. That is where my time has gone to. Um, Compositions. Where did I leave off? Well, I left off after a bit of time with FreeAS, with their platforms honestly not working, or the sizes being fucked up and the quality being shit. It has been a few months now, and the situation I think has stabilized. Um, I've started playing around with yes again with their mods or their models at least in a Star Wars campaign. I am slowly working on setting up the first mission out of about 10 missions or so that are a solo campaign for StarSim. Um, Starting off with Camino. So there's quite a bit of work going into that already, composition wise, but nothing that I can show yet. But it's definitely one of the big projects that I want to work on in 2024 and deliver before the end of 2024. But where does that leave me with the compositions and such itself? Well, I do want to return to composition making, especially for StarSim and modern day. I also want to start working on compositions in Halo and diversify all my content that I have on the workshop. Um, the current compositions on the workshop that are all out of date, I want to go and update those. But that will take time. I don't want to rush into things in 2024. I want to take it on my own pace and not have the worry of I have to provide this because there are so many people depending on it. Because that brought me into a burnout, even though people said there's no pressure. Somehow I felt the pressure. So I don't want to end up in a burnout again, and I want to take it on my own pace. That being said, I am returning to composition work in 2024. I'm gonna be doing StarSim compositions again. I'm gonna be doing Halo compositions. I'm gonna continue with making modern compositions, although I have not shared any of those, or maybe I think I've only shared one of those. I actually got one in the works right now that I will show you in a moment as well. But more on that in a moment. But what is the expected time span for all of this? I can't say. I will work on my own pace, which may mean that some compositions start trickling in the first month of January, or maybe in February. But I do want to slowly start to ramp up things again. I want to rework the composition that I have on the workshop, update them all, so you can use them again. That will take time. I don't know how long it will take me to do that. I know that I've postponed it quite a bit before, but now I want to go up or go in and finish it. So you can use those compositions again. Go in through all the composition that I have on the workshop, see if any of the composition that I updated last require an update again. That being said, I will do one final update, for example, on the Venator, on the Acclimator and stuff, the Lucrehulk, after which I most likely will leave it. And then I will start focusing on new compositions. Same with all the other compositions that are on the workshop. I want to start focusing on new work as well, instead of continuing the support of old work, which honestly will only take more and more and more time from my end to update it. So I will most likely go and start dropping compositions after I've updated them for one final time in favor of new work. Before the end of 2024, as said, I want to have a basic campaign out, a solo campaign. I want to work with keyframe animations on this and stuff. That is all all stuff that I'm still trying to learn and trying to perfect. So I want to make that for a solo campaign and possibly also a co-op campaign in it. But the things will be different between co-op and single player, obviously with keyframe animations and stuff that can't play in multiplayer. But that is all stuff that will happen at the same time as I will try to make all these compositions. So it is going to be a busy year, but I will not give a clear time span for when everything will be done. And the last thing that I have right now is a thing that I want to show you. There's something that I've been working on, and I'm actually trying to make it ready for the workshop. And that is a tunnel exit. Very small, very tiny, but something funny nonetheless. For the longest time, I've been doing things like doing certain effects like the capital ships that you have most likely seen on my workshop page. The capital ships, that there are 9 capital ships basically that you can destroy and they will come crashing down and stuff. I've tried to modify this and put this into modern day. So I got a tunnel exit right here, very tiny. There's only a civilian right here that acts as my item to see if it has been blown up or not. The concrete well is the tunnel exit in this case. I don't have a better object, unfortunately. I got a helipad invisible, which is to form to the terrain basically. If you properly drag it down when placing it, you can actually set it in such a way where it is slanted and such with the terrain, for example, if you try to place it on uneven terrain, which is important to do because craters like these, if you place them up high and they are on an inclination, they will not form to the terrain and you can look underneath of them. So that is where the invisible helipad comes in. And then there is also the trigger. Trigger is set up in such a way that it activates on any player and they can be present in the trigger zone. I will quickly go in and show you what the code I have. Trigger condition is looking at if the soldier, the VR soldier, is alive or not, and whether there is a player inside of the trigger zone or not. This part that the player is inside of the trigger zone only is for the cam shake, because I'm adding cam shake in order to mimic that the ground is indeed moving beneath your feet. So the ground would shake if you're standing close enough to the tunnel exit, which is collapsing. Otherwise, it will still happen without the cam shake. And the cam shake only appears for the players that are inside of the trigger zone and not outside of it. So if you're too far away, you don't have cam shake added to your interface. A few things that I do is I look at the concrete well and I put it into an array. This means you can have actually multiple objects or just one. In this case, I only have one per array or per trigger. Same with the VR soldier and the helipad as well. The helipad is the thing that I look to for the vector direction and the vector up to place the craters and everything correctly according to the terrain. And the rest is only there to be deleted later on without having to set variable names on these items. In the end, I delete the VR, or not the VR, I delete the invisible helipad, I delete the concrete well, and I delete the civilian, and I delete the trigger itself to completely declutter the interface and to clean up what is no longer required. And this is just a debug message that is in there for now, but this obviously won't make it to the final code. One thing that I do want to go in and change up is this civilian. I want to see if I can change it out for a different object that does not have so much simulation added to it and stuff. Maybe simulation should be added to it since it needs to be able to blow up. But not something that is like AI, because I can imagine if you have placed 100 of these around, now you have 100 civilian squads around. Obviously adding overhead to your performance on the server. In the end, it's going to add up and it's going to slow down your gameplay. So that is something that I still want to figure out and find a different object for. That can also be killed. So there's that. I will quickly show you what it does. Because basically if you go and you blow it up, the ground doesn't really deform unless you have any deform mod loaded. But basically this is the tunnel exit. I will drop an explosion or an explosive on here. Right here. And 112 that block. And we shall detonate it. And there you see you get the cam shake of the ground collapsing. And you get craters that show up because it has been blown up. And that is the small little effect that I was trying to go for. So yeah, that is what I'm doing right now with the modern day stuff, tunnel exits. I could probably go in and put this onto capital ships as well, making it much easier for you to place around the capital ships. But that is stuff that I will have to play with once this is all finished. Then maybe finally also the Republic version of ships that you can take down, eh? Since that has been a requested feature or a requested composition for such a long time, which might finally be a thing that I will go and make. So that is the update that I have for you guys. Sorry for the long silence. But yeah, I really haven't been feeling right enough. Also with medical things going on in the background, unfortunately. But besides the medical things, I have not really been feeling to do many compositions or update anything in the past few months. But that should hopefully all change in 2024. For now, I again hope you had a good Christmas, and I wish you a very good New Year.